Yes, brother.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Yeah.
Very faint.
Is it?
Let me put my headphones in 1 second. That might be better.
Have you got your volume turned up?
No, I got you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. So
sorry about the misunderstanding, darling. It's just I was fucking all over the place, and I'll never let you down. But I do understand what you're saying. I do understand. If you're making promises, then you got to stick to them, ain't you?
That's all it was, brother. It was because I said to them, I don't know how we got miscommunicated. The thing is, I know the mind of someone who wants to go out and let loose, and that's where you was at, bro. You needed to get out. You needed to go and let loose. And I knew, even when you said, I'll do this thing on the Sunday, I went and said, right, I'm bringing in someone special tomorrow. And even as I was saying, I was like, he's not.
You know me better than myself, mate. That's the thing. I was on a rally. I've been locked down for a year. I was in a car racing, just fucking in heaven. I was like, that's the only thing I like doing is going fast in a car and just beating people. But yeah, but look, we're here now, mate. I'm all yours.
Right.
I'm all yours. I'm good.
Okay. Well, look, what this is for then.
Is it just me and you here now?
Just me and you, mate. Yeah.
Okay,
so
great.
I'm going to send them this recording. So it's literally just me and you. And what we did with Rachel, who used to be one of the dragons from Dragon's Den. And what happened was, I'll just give you a story. So when she was dragon on Dragon's Den, she was, Red Letter Day. She was the one that started Red Letter Day. So they were doing, they were doing hundreds of millions, mate. Now, what happens is in business, you know this yourself as well, that when you get the chance to go from one level up to the next level, we're now stepping into unfamiliar territory. We don't know how to go from, say, 10 million to 100 million, but there are people that do. So she brought a lot of these people in, and unfortunately, the advice that she was being given served the people at a certain level, but it didn't serve her business. Now, check this out, bro. Even though she had 3 million liquid, she had to declare bankruptcy live on TV.
Wow.
Simple story, bro. I'm seeing the same thing happen to so many people that want to get out of being in the trap. Because if you don't have that breakdown and rebuild with, I don't want to sound fucking airy-fairy, but when we rebuild in a new frequency, we rebuild in a new, with a new vibration, with a new vibe, then what we're building, no one can fucking knock this down. Because what we're building is something that has the freaking intelligence of the universe behind it, not something that is just manipulating a mind for a personal gain. This is now about us rising the freaking tide, and all ships that are on that tide, they all get to rise together. So what I shared with, what I asked Rachel was, look, what happened? And she said, look, there's a lot of things out there that are crushing people in today's world. There's a lot of illusions that people are chasing. And if they get them, like you chased the fame and the fortune, brother. You got it. You did what most people dream of but never get. And you got there, and it freaking swallowed you up and spat you out, not because of you, because of the way you've been programmed. So what we did with Rachel was, I said to her, what happened? Because now you've got multiple millions back again, but what's different? And she said, one of the first things, Skip, when I went to Supercharge Live, she said, you just threw all this stuff at me, and I'd never understood this, I'd never heard of this, but it resonated with me. Then she came on the 5-day retreat, and she said, the stuff that you're teaching is what everyone around the world needs, because now I was able to, bounce back as a better version of myself. And the deals and the movements and the things that she's now growing, bro, it's insane. And she never would have been able to do this unless she got broken down so that she could rebuild in the new ways. So these are the things that I'm going to want to get out of you. Is let's go.
How long have you got? Because I've got a lot to tell you.
Okay, let's do this then. Maybe as
no, just this. I'm not going to look at this as a therapy session in any way. What I want to do is tell you my experiences and what I've learned, and go through the whole process of what I've learned through obviously a lot of it you being your teachings and the experiences I've had being around you, and I've probably done more retreats than anybody.
You know.
So I'm an old veteran now. Do you know what I mean? I'm an old veteran, and I've been through them. And you know, as much as they feel like they're the same, everyone's the same, and the teaching's the same, they're not, because you know you get taught maths from when you're a kid, and you go into that maths room every day. Like you look at your timetable at school and you go, I've got maths today. You do maths 3 times a week. Every time you go into that maths room, it isn't the same multiples or subtractions or the theories that you're learning. It's always a different something. It's the same principle, but you're learning something else about maths. You go into an English class, you do maths from the ages English and maths, which are the 2 main subjects all the way through your life. But every time you go in that room, and this is why I think it's important for people to not say they've done it once. Oh, and even as an actor, they say it takes 20 years to become an actor, and which is right. I mean, you kind of hone, doesn't matter where you go. But again, I will want to go into a room and do an acting class to refresh, to get it back, because you can get stagnant. And especially when you're untrained, you're always self-critical and you always want to do better, which ain't a bad thing. It's a great thing being self-critical, because if you're not, then the fucking ego kicks in and the reptilian kicks in. You think you're better than anyone. You soon go crash. You'll crash and burn very quickly. Do you know what I mean? So 100%. There are a lot of things I've learned. And when you talk, am I right to just start talking now?
Well, go for it. This is because this is real. This is what I want people to be able to do, is to be able to express themselves from their heart exactly where they're at. Because you've learned in this life that if you don't get knocked down, you don't get the ability to get back up again. And it's in that getting back up is where the magic's found. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's your making. It's what makes you. You know, I have been going through a horrendous breakup, like a heartbreaking breakup with a family that I started blaming myself. And you get drummed, you get called names every day, and that comes with being part of being the head of a family. You can sit there and go, poor old me. Oh, look, they're calling me names. Or you can fucking deal with it and just say to yourself, well, look, you've got responsibility here. And when you break down, they break down. They break down in different ways. They're going to break down. And if their mechanism for failure is attack, then you have to take it. You know, I had people coming into me worried on the phone. I had some holy men come around to the house, and these holy men are booked for, you know, they got introduced to me by someone, and I thought, okay, let them come in and let them do their thing. They actually work away from biblical books. They actually, it's bizarre, I explained to you, they actually go and do deals with the devil, and they sacrifice themselves for you. So they kind of keep it away from the Quran or the Bible or any biblical religion. They are very religious, but they kind of keep it away from that, and they have their own thought process and mechanism, to the point where they're even going to experience lacerations. They're going to do, because they know, I'm honest. If I'm honest with you, I can say I've done a lot of bad things in my life, and they know that, and they're gonna have to take the hit for that, because this is what they do, and they don't come here for money, you know. And this is the beauty of it. They'll give you an envelope. They'll go put whatever you want in that envelope. We're gonna pray for you for 30 days and 30 nights, and we'll open that envelope once our work is done. And it's a beautiful thing. So going back to what I was saying is that you can sit there and take the hits, and I've now learned that being alone isn't so bad for me. When you talk about, I mean, it's heartbreaking, and I'm a family man, and you always want your family around you. But if that's at an end, that's at an end. And I've learned to say to myself, well, okay, well, maybe it's not for now. I never say never, never, never. Do you know, never, never. Because as long as that love is boiling hot in your heart and it's still there, there's always a chance. And I do believe that it's for you to go in and do it, because I remember when I came to you first time round, and my biggest fear was flying. It's just simple things, flying on a plane with my family, and we'd fly separately. And you kind of said, look, and what's the problem? Well, if they're going to go down, I can't protect them. But, you know, if you go down, everybody goes down. It's like, you know, planes have gone down and people survived them. You can never claim your destiny of death. If it's there, it's there, and you've got to deal with that. And I get on a plane with your son and enjoy those moments of traveling and stuff. And, you know, thinking about that, it's like, if it isn't now, and at the time I was splitting up with my wife, and it was all bad, and we went back and it was great, but then it went sour again. And you can either sit there and blame yourself or blame someone else, or say, look, there's no one to blame for this. This is just how it is. Control your own emotions, control who you are. And if they want to do that, then great. Bring them back into your surroundings and bring them back into your atmosphere and your feeling of what you want to happen. And it can happen. It's very easy. But the difficulty is people say they can change people. No one can change unless they want to change. Every emotion is a choice, right? And, you know, I sat there and I was at that point where, and I'm only human, I'm made of flesh and blood like everybody else. And it was like, oh, they're calling me names. They make me feel sad. That no, it's you. If you want to put yourself in that state of mind where people are going to sit there and call you names and you're going to take it and fall over and depress yourself and I am this and I'm that, then that's your choice, because they're still going to go on and get on with their life. They don't give a shit about you sitting there fucking dying, because if they did, they would try and make it right for you. But if they're not, then you have to come to an understanding where, you know what, this part of my life is done, close the book, move on, and just say to yourself, let's go. Manifesting. When, you know, I've learned thinking about it, and I've sat there and I think, I'm in this big house. I've got the best girl in the fucking, I've got the best girl on the estate. I married the best girl. I've got the beautifulest kids. I drive the best cars. I'm healthy. I've still got my looks. I've still got my, there's nothing I don't have. Who gave me that? Did God come down and knock my door and go, here, son, there's £1 million, get going? No, I did it. So thinking about manifestation, and people are sort of, that's only come to the forefront now. We're manifesting subconsciously.
One sec. I just want to go on this because there's something that you just tapped on. I don't want to miss it because there's you're dropping some gems in here, and because you said that I am this and I am that. Now, usually people say that in a negative way. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm lazy. I'm procrastinating. Whatever it might be. Now, and I remember you got that tattoo that I am, and I said, right, you're missing. Yeah, so the I am, and you're missing the ... And you know, because whatever we say after the I am, we're becoming it, because it comes out the mouth and it goes into 2 ears. Now, what I'd like people to understand is, because you've gone through it, you've had it all, the fame, the fortune, you lost it, you rebuild it, and it's
I've still got it.
Rebuilding, constant rebuilding, constant rebuilding. Just tell us what the I am was in your mind when it was at the worst to what it is now. And maybe, because if we can understand the two, because you just said it, if, you know, if God didn't give me the $1 million, what God or life or the universe gave me was life. So I can go and create the life that I want. I can become who I want. I get to choose who I share this space with, whether it's a space where we go and do our professional work, or a space where we have our personal life. So give us the before and the after, because I know for you, it was like night and day.
Oh, well, for me, just to touch on that, I am are the 2 most powerfulest words in any language. Any language. It doesn't matter what you speak, Swahili, Mandarin, English, Indian, Turkish. I am are the most 2 powerfulest words in any language. And that's for sure, because you can manifest that within you, a negative state within you. And the sad thing is that, I don't know, 80-90% of the human race are stuck in a negative state of I am, which is the saddest thing. And that's why when I got to the age of 50, I wanted to tag my skin. This isn't a fashion thing. I wanted to tag it on my hand, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Why are you because it's not that. I've got something on my back and I've got this. This is something for me. You go to bed saying, I am a fucking failure. I am depressed. I am this. That's what you're going to be. And it's not difficult. It's very simple for you to sit there and go, oh, I am, you know, I'm on the dole and I'm this and I'm not. What people should do is this. As long as you've got that fucking breath in you, you are what you create, and you can be whatever you want. Go to bed saying, I am going to be good tomorrow. Okay, but if you put yourself in a slight negative state, all of that positivity goes, because you go, I am going to be good tomorrow, but I'm on the dole. I am going to go and have a good day tomorrow, but I've got to meet my mum and she's horrible to me. No, the I am has got to be one or the other. And it can't be the other. It's got to be the one. And get up in the morning and write it down. It's very simple. I've got friends that say, and I've kind of trying to, they've all started coming into this whole skip world, if I can call it that, this whole preaching and this practice that you do. And when I first came to you, I was like a born again Christian. I was like preaching, like went like a fucking lunatic. Don't eat meat, don't do this, veganism, blah, 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 blah. Came out of there. I'm a writer, I'm this, just full of fucking life. I'm gonna fucking, what are you drinking that for? Don't drink alcohol, it fucking kills you. I just went crazy. And everyone's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm the best. But then it just started coming back
best
to me. Yeah, and it was just fucking full of energy. You come out there, you're juicing for 5 days, and it's like, rah, life is great. I know how to breathe. I know how to manifest and all of this stuff. And then I kind of slowly eased back because family was going, Tamer, just relax, man, relax. Because, you know, people are not ready to be where you are. And if they want to be where you are, then they're going to have to make that step forward. So coming out of
go from it's like going in to do a heavyweight workout without warming up. You're going to bust up the body and get to the level where we can manifest something, but then really appreciate it and have what we've manifested have us grow and expand to get to the next level. So just give us some of what thoughts you were having where the I ams were destructive, because I really want people to get the contrast for you, because I tell people that, you know, when I first met Tamer, I connected with your heart and soul. And I said, he's one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. However, his mind was polluted and manipulated with people that wanted to control, wanted to manipulate, wanted to grab, wanted to take. And the programs just played out in his life. But we start getting rid of the programs, and now you can go and reveal who you truly are in this world. So give us the before. What were the I ams before we get to the place where we can realize and remember who you truly are?
The great thing is you strip back to a blank canvas. That's what you do. That's the way I see it. You strip me back to a blank canvas. Whatever's there. I don't care. I mean, listen, people that I am in a positive state still have problems. So what you do, Skip, you strip me back to a blank canvas. And I was just going to touch on what I was saying. A lot of my friends go, happy, healthy, wealthy, happy, healthy, wealthy, happy, healthy, which is great. Put that in your head. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy. Things start manifesting. You have to write it down. Yeah. You have to write it down, because that's only one bit of it. Write it down, install it, ingrain it, immortalize it. The thought there is not immortalized. It's there and it can go. The minute you write it down, it's immortal. You immortalize those thoughts and those manifestations. They're there for life. You can die and that's still there. That ink on that page is still there. So it's still there within your universe and your atmosphere and your thinking. So just, okay, passing on from that, my I ams were very, what happened to me was, I'll keep it brief because I could sit and talk to everyone for hours, and I do have an amazing story and an amazing journey, but everything I've wanted, subconsciously we manifest as a child. We didn't even know we were manifesting as kids. You know, people used to put pictures of Madonna and pop stars and girls they fancied on their wall. Mine was houses and cars. And what do I have now? I have the most amazing cars. I don't have a lot of money in the bank, but I have the most amazing cars. And don't ask me how I get them, but I get them. I have the most amazing house. And I'm buying properties and I'm looking at property and I'm just cars. So for me as a kid, that manifested. And even when you was young, you'd go, I wish I could have that girl. And I grew up in a very racist society. So I was never allowed to have an English girl with white skin. And that was what I was always after. But I ended up getting the girl, the best looking girl. And I ended up getting everything because subconsciously you're manifesting as a kid. So you need to bring that into now, because what happened then was, you know, all of us have that. We have our archetypes, as you say, but that entertaining archetype, we all do it. You know, painters up the ladder will sing Frank Sinatra and sing it brilliantly, but they're painting. So we all have that entertaining in us, but it's the very few that actually go and get it. And I always, you know, wanted to act. It wasn't that I wanted to act. I always wanted to be a somebody. I remember very, very long time ago when I used to go to clubs, I thought, I don't want to queue it. I don't want to queue. I don't want to stand in the queue. I want the red rope to open for me. And it wasn't an ego thing or a power thing. It was, I just always wanted to be someone. From a very young age, my mum knew that I couldn't take an order. I could never work for no one. So she see that and set me up as a market trader. So at a very young age, I was an entrepreneur at a very young age. She set me up on a market stall, and I started hustling and doing my own things. I was working from the age of 9, stacking shelves. That didn't last long because the boss at Londy's would tell me to do so. Have a go at me. I'd give him a slap and I'd run out of there and I'd tell him off. I got expelled from school more times than anybody. So that was already within me. And my mum never ever see that as a negative. She saw that as a positive and loved it, that I wasn't a worker bee. And I always wanted to make something of myself. And she really honed that and helped me. And she still does to this day. So I'm ever thankful to her. But I got to a point where I got famous very quick. Like, I don't call it luck. I call it unlucky, right? Because you go to school, the main process of it is you go to drama school, you go to university, you're at Guildhall, you get your degrees, and then you have that credibility. Like, you know, you've got your doctor's degree, and then you can go to theatre, you can go to the agencies, and that's the process where you gain credibility and you rise through the ranks slowly to the point where you gain your fame slowly and you get there, and there's a process. For me, it was completely different. As you know, I have a past, and I have a criminal past, and it, you know, no fault of my own. It was a family business, and things happened, and I hated it, and I still hate it, and I got myself out of it very quickly. And for me, the entertainment business saved my life, because in interviews, people say to me, "What would you do if you weren't an actor? Doing life or dead?" And it's as simple as that, Skip, and you know it. And, you know, doing life or dead, because that was the path that was given to me. And that's what I thought life was, you know, just doing that. And so I got to a point, I had 5 movies out in the cinema all at once. Great movies, iconic movies that are now iconic. And, you know, when you think about actors, an actor can go through his whole life and not get one iconic movie. And I've got like 5 or 6, and it's like everyone from, you know, Danny Boyle to all these directors and actors, and the public was like, who the fuck is he? He's big, he's powerful, he's good looking, he's a great actor. I just exploded onto the screen. And I went from doing these movies and them not coming out for a while, and sort of looking around, you know, people getting packed, and I started sort of being in that circle of fame and actors, and my life was sort of there. I was hitting red carpets, and the press was kind of growing slowly and kind of going to cover, nobody really knowing me, press not taking it. I was sitting there thinking, oh man, that'd be me one day, but just take your time. And then all of a sudden it was like bang, to the point where I went from somebody shopping in Tesco's with my children and having a free, unheadached life to can't walk down the street. And it was like, wow, the money started coming, the offers were coming in. I was probably the busiest man on the planet. Iconic films, Tamer was great, the press, the this, the awards, the this. And now all of a sudden, I'm getting the invites. Will Tamer come to this? Will Tamer come? And I'm the man of the moment. And it's not that I didn't know how to deal with it, because I was famous within my own fraternity before I was famous. I had a reputation. I had nightclubs. I was a pillar and a figurehead, not for the right reasons, mind you, for the wrong reasons, for the fear reasons, which is a horrible place to be, but I knew nothing.
But what you did at that time was you chased and manifested what you thought was the right things to get to empower your life, and you got it. But then you realized
nightclubs, restaurants. For me, it was like nightclubs and restaurants. I mean, what young man doesn't want to own a nightclub in the 90s, in the 80s? I was 24 years old when I had my first nightclub. I was like the king of the castle. You know, we had a team around us. We were strong. We were feared. You know, there was it was just amazing. But that at that time was what I thought was the life to live. So even then, I got what I thought was right, and I got what I wanted. And then this happened. And then it was like, I'm sitting in nightclubs and not knowing what was going on, it was all crumbling around me. And then the leeches started, then the Ponces started, then the tag-on started, then the jealousy kicked in, and then my old friends, I left my friends. I haven't spoken to them for 25 years. I used to take them out and I'd say to them, listen, don't take drugs at the table. Remember, I've got, this is my job now. I'm a public servant. I've got a responsibility to the public now. I have my children and you can't, and I heard him speaking and saying things and I look at him, who the fuck does he think he is? And for me, it was like, I want to bring my friends that I grew up with. I want them to enjoy this success. And it was, I think I don't want to drop any names, but I was told by a very, very famous, iconic singer who I used to play football with in charity game. He watched a few of my movies. He said, you're going to be really, really big because you're really good at this now. And I went, come on, man. And he went, just let me give you one bit of advice. Hang around with people that are in your business. I went, no chance, man. My mates are my mates. We've been to prison together. We've done it there. And he went, trust me. He went, stick with people on the same journey as you because it will change for you. And I'm telling you now, you're going to have to let them go once. And no. How quickly did that lesson come into play? And I got caught up in this whole nightclub, drinking, having a good time, having the best time. And I thought, yes, I fucking made it. I'm Robert De Niro. I'm Frank Sinatra. I'm the man. Then the ego kicks in. No, you ain't the fucking man, mate. Because as long as you're thinking you're the man, they're raping you, mate. They're leeching onto you and taking every last breath out of you. But don't get me wrong. I'll say this with a smile on my face. I had the best fucking time ever, and I have no regrets. I had the best time ever because that was a part of my life that I thought was great, and I had no regrets until everything started crashing down. And that wasn't the industry. It was me. And then I started thinking, I can't get a job. Why am I not getting a job? Because our industry, it's like any industry, it isn't a small world, it's a street. It doesn't matter whether you're in prison. If something happened in a prison in Scotland and you're in a prison in Southeast London, you hear about it. You don't have a phone. You don't have a telly. How do you hear about it? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how it works? See how it works? There's no internet. There's nothing. Something happens in a prison in Scotland. Somebody gets murdered in a prison in Scotland. It gets to you. You know that night. That's how it works. People know what you're doing. So all of a sudden, Tamer Hassan becomes a hindrance. Tamer Hassan now becomes a problem because Tamer Hassan's rock and roll. Tamer Hassan now gets put on set, get paid a lot of money, turns up late, turns up angry, turns up thinking he's the man. Who's going to tolerate that? Would they tolerate in the workplace, at a bank? No. So why should they tolerate in my business? And it took me a long time to learn this. And I haven't learned it. I've learned this over the last 8-9 years since I've been around you. But at that time, when I was doing it, it was like I was going out on the street and I still get mobbed today. And I was getting mobbed then because the public still see you as that iconic figure. Because let me tell you something. Once you're famous, my friend, you can never be unfamous. But fame doesn't pay the bills. Fame doesn't give you health. Fame doesn't give you state of mind. Fame gives you a false sense of thinking. So I'm famous, but I can't pay the bills. I'm famous and I'm an icon, but I've lost my house. I'm famous and I'm an icon and I've lost my marriage. Understand what I'm saying to you? And then when you're at that lowest point, you sit down and you put your head in your hands and you go, where the fuck did it all go wrong? And you can sit there and blame yourself. Or you can pick your fucking self up and start again. Hollywood is full of aging fuckwits, and pardon my French for saying it, because it frustrates me no end that they're sitting there, icons of the 80s, haven't worked for 30 years and still waiting for that chance. Someone's going to knock on the door because they believe that whole bullshit of comeback stories. Name me 20 Hollywood icons, mate. You can't. But there's millions of them sitting there waiting. And if they got up off their ass and changed the game for themselves, they can be right back where they are because they don't know how to move with the times. They don't know how to it's like fashion. You have the 90s era, and that comes back. Fashion changes every decade. It comes back. So does the movie business. So does the movie industry. So does banking. So does anything you do. You have to evolve and change with it. Do you understand? Or you don't. Frank Sinatra, change. Madonna, why is she still at the top of her game? Is she doing what she did 30 years ago? No, she's moving with the times. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what I had to do, Skip. And what it was as well, I got all this money. When I left you, I was broke. Skip, you said to me, get the plane ticket. I'll pay for the rest. I couldn't get the plane ticket. My manager had to pay the £30 ticket to get me there. I came without a penny in my pocket, but something said to me, go. I come back from there, within a year, I had a £4 million house, £2 million in the bank. Within 2 years, that money was gone. Why? Because in my head, for some reason, I didn't deserve it. I didn't want it. Why have I got this money? And I start giving it away, trusting people, giving it away, giving it away. And those are the things that I think, for me, not how can I put it? For me, feeling unworthy of that money, and looking at it, and I did the wrong things by my children. It was wrong, but nobody gives me a manual to be the best husband, to raise my children. And I get emotional when I say this, because you want to give them everything. I come from bread and jam, and then they've been through that journey with me where we're on the dole and we're living in a bed sit, and then we me and my wife was in a bed sit, and we had nothing, mate. And we had a kid and there's cockroaches running up the wall. And I'm like, I've got this money now. You look and have it. It's all yours. Instead of me giving them the tools to make their own money and making them earn it, I gave it to them. Cars, house, credit card, boom, have it. Worst thing I could have ever done.
I was on.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Have you seen? We talk about, like, the other interview I did was with Rachel Elmore, who was one of the Dragons Den. I watched an interview with I forget his name, something O'Leary, Kevin O'Leary from Shark's Tank in America, the one that called Mr. Wonderful, super rich guy, and he was being interviewed by Grant Cardone, who's from Undercover Billionaire, and he was talking about his kids, and he said, my kids, there are parts of them that hate me because I've told them that when I die, they're not getting any of my money. Why should they? He goes, what I want to be able to do is teach them how to earn the money. He said, that's the best thing I can give them. Oh, Dad, come on, you got this and you got that. He goes, yeah, I've earned that. I can teach you how to learn if you want to learn. But if you don't want to learn, you ain't going to earn. And I'm not going to train you to become a taker in life. You've got to learn how to be a giver. So that leads me to this now. When it comes to the I am, who's Tamer? I am.
I'll tell you who I am now. And just going on to the kids thing, I lost that money very quickly, and it's coming back now in abundance, my friend. And when I tell you it's coming back, because you know what?
It can't not.
No,
now you're understanding, you're looking back, not as a victim. You're looking back in an empowered way to be able to say, well, that character that rocked up here, he deserved all this stuff. That character that did this thing. That's the trap that rich parents have. They just want to give it to their kids. But what they do is they clip the wings. It's like if you try and help that caterpillar as it's going into the butterfly and those wings are coming out, even if you try and help a little bit, you clip the wings. And
don't disturb the metamorphosis process. Don't disturb it, baby. My kids, the metamorphosis process. I made that up. Maybe it's in the dictionary. You can have it, license it. It's yours as a gift. But my kids now, thankfully, are very able, and they're very good now. They earn money. They're doing really well. They're very independent. They've moved out, and they're doing their own thing, which is great, which is a good thing. So I'm very happy for that. I just hope that they learn by my mistakes and they don't do that to their children. That's my biggest thing for them. Look what I did for you and look what it turned you into. Do not do that to your children. So there's always going to be a positive coming out of it. That's what we always strive for. But who I am today, and I just want to touch on this as well. Be careful how you ask for things. Be careful how you ask for things, because I'll give you one story. Do you remember I was saying to you, 50 at 50? 50 at 50. How are you going to start? I want 5 mil in the bank. I want 5 mil. If I get 5 mil in the bank, I'm not going backwards. I want 5 mil. I want 5 mil. I want 5 mil. I put the check in my, I did everything, anything that worked for everyone. I was doing it. As good as God made. Little green apples, 5 million in the bank. But it wasn't mine. It was somebody else's. Somebody put 5 million into my account to make a movie. So I got the 5 mil, but I asked for it the wrong way. I'm not, upset about it anyway. It's just, be careful how you ask for it, or know how to ask for it. And it's okay to be, I've learned that, because I was with you, and I was going, I want to do this, I want to do that. And you said, what about you, Tam? It's okay to be selfish. Seriously, I believe it's okay to be selfish, because be selfish for you until you get it. Once you've got it, if you want to give it out.
If you filling your cup up, if your cup's not filled and you are not filled up, and you go out there to try and make an impact, there'll be a crack in that. And the second you give and you see that you're giving, but it's draining from your own cup, resentment bubbles up. So you've got to make sure that your cup's filled up, let it overspill, and then just give that back to people. That's the secret.
That is the word. That is the key word that I was waiting to hear from you. Because every time I speak to you, interview or not, I get something from it. Let it overspill before you give it away. Thank you for that, Skip. Let it overspill, because that was all I was waiting for. And that actually clicked a cog in my head now, because you're right. And again, look, guys, when you listen to this, every time I speak to this man, I'm here to help you guys. But look what I'm getting from it. Again, let it overspill. That now has filled something that's been toying with me for many years. I'm going to get this money, I'm going to give it away. But you're right, before it hits the top, I'm giving it away. And then all before you know it, it's gone. It's like, oh, fuck, I've got to go and get it again. Let it overspill. So thank you for that, my brother. Thank you. So let it overspill. And that's a beautiful thing. But for me now, who I am, is I have had to, as much as the heartache is so strong and the love for things around me, and I'm not going to say what it is, it's so strong, I've had to let things go. I've had to sacrifice. And when people say sacrifice, for every average Joe, 99.9% of us, you think, oh, I've got to sacrifice something, so I've got to give this car away and downsize. That's not fucking sacrificing. That's clever. That's clever structuring. That's clever. That's not sacrifice. That isn't a sacrifice. Because if you're downsizing a car from a Ferrari to a Nissan Micra, you're still mobile. You're just being smart. When I say sacrifice, you have to do things above and beyond the duty sometimes to get to where you're going to have to get to. And that doesn't mean it's never and it's forever. It just means for now. For now.
Well, and here's the thing as well, bro, because this is what I've seen in you, that you're a hardcore workaholic. You can walk in a room and you can clock the room straight away. You start to tune into people. You start to understand things. You're receiving a lot of information that you're aware of. And that takes muscle. You have to build that muscle. It's like, if you want to have an awesome body, you don't do one workout. You're consistent. You want to build a bicep, get some freaking pressure on it. And what you're talking about now is going above and beyond the call of duty. That should be something that should be hardwired into ourselves to always over deliver. Always, always, always. Because what we do is, in that over delivering, remember, we're not sacrificing. We're making sure our cup's filled. Because then it's overspilling, and we want to give back, but we never give what we haven't got. And it's in that giving and giving and giving. But remember, it's giving to you first, making sure that this spaceship that you go through life in, which we call a mind, body, and spirit, understanding that's the most phenomenal thing in the whole freaking universe. And all we've got to do is wake up to that power, wake up to that intelligence. But the challenge is, if we don't wake up to that power in balance, then we fall in the trap of, like, the fame and fortune game. Oh, I've got it, but now the power eats us up. And we see this with so many leaders around the world that are meant to be doing good. And there are certain leaders around the world that have put people on a wild goose chase when it comes to this whole challenge that we're going through at the moment with this, I will call it a pandemic, because it's been planned, whichever way we look at it. Of course it is.
I call it a scamdemic.
Scamdemic. Now, we know that's going on. Now, until we're able to have that truth in the body, the mind, and the spirit, we don't know how to go and take action. Because if people take action out of fear, you can guarantee their frequency is going to come down. Their ability to be able to manifest that power, it goes down. When we find that harmony between our body, our mind, our spirit, and we be selfish as we need to be to make sure that we've got the fuel in the tank. It's just like putting petrol in your car. If you don't put the fuel in the tank, you ain't going anywhere. So you have to be it's only selfish as in say, is it selfish putting fuel in your car? No, because it doesn't go without the fuel. So we have to, if selfish is the word that people resonate with, but it's just filling your tank up, filling your cup up. And then we take joy in giving that to people. We take joy. It was like when you had the road rage and you went and kissed that guy on the head and you went and walking around at the moment just like kissing people's foreheads because you've now got something to give and you laugh at it. But what was you giving? The toxic stuff, the anger, because you didn't have your cup filled up. When your cup's filled up, mate, you're the biggest lovable, huggable bear I've ever come in contact with. And that's what you have to share. But you had to go through the darkness to know, you know what? I know there's a lot of darkness around this world and I got born into it. But my job is now to spread the light. My job is to bring lightness to the table. And it doesn't matter where you go, when your cup is filled, you've got so much to give back. And that's why when I tune into your timeline and there are people saying, oh my God, get ready, get ready. Because if they tune into it, all we've got to do is make sure that your cup is filled up all the time. And then your purpose, your passion, that will naturally roll out into your everyday gifts that you get to share with people. So what's the I am now then?
Well, saying that, I've gone through the dark places. I've gone through it again, and I've come out the other side. And the I am that I am now, I've literally offloaded the deadwood. Gone.
Good.
Skip, you used to be with me. My phone didn't stop ringing, did it?
No.
Have you heard any phones ring?
Not
No.
yet.
No, my phone doesn't ring. I sit in my beautiful home, and I'm all right on my own. And now what I'm doing is I've got rid of the cloud. The cloud. I used to get angry. And then the anger turns into the heartache my heart used to break. And then I used to turn the heartache into anger. And sending texts. You see how tense I was when I came to, and it slowly unwound. But I don't get angry anymore. I don't react anymore. I don't react on impulse anymore. And what I've done is I've created a circle of people around me that are just genuinely honest, lovely, generous, and they want the right thing for all of us. And I've created, excuse me, some amazing business opportunities that when I was talking about 5 mil and 10 mil and 50 mil, it's literally turned into billions. And the cup overflowing is exactly where I'm at now, because I was always at 50 at 50. By the time I'm at my 50, I want 50 million in the bank, I can do some good. But the 50 million doesn't even half fill the cup with what I want to do. Doesn't even quarter fill it. And I'm very humbled now. I don't want for much. I want a house abroad, and I want to live on the beach, and I want a little place here. I want to make sure my family's okay, and that's it. And my whole dream now, my whole drive is humanitarian. And my whole drive for these humanitarian projects, without me even knowing these products and these humanitarian things are sitting on my lap. And now I'm using my platform as a famous person, as an icon, or whatever, however people see me, to open a door to help. So the whole movie thing for me is like way over there. It's my passion and my love. And I will die with a camera on me. I will make sure if I'm dying of cancer, God forbid, I will find a film that somebody's dying of cancer, put the cameras on me, and that's how I'm gonna die. Do you understand? That's how much I love it. But that has to sit over there for a minute. Offers are coming in. I'm doing some great work. I'm not chasing any of it. And it's not that I'm not interested in it, but right now, the cup needs to not overflow, but I need 4 or 5 cups now overflowing. Do you see what I'm saying? So when I land on that plane and I land to where I'm at, I know people are coming, and I know I'm bringing the joy to make those differences. I stopped. I want that house in Miami. I wanted that, this, that, give me everything. I stopped that a year ago. 2021. 2020 was very testing for me, and I set up a charity called Mask Our Heroes, and I was out every day doing good. And doing that good selfishly served me, which was nice because I was helping and it was serving me. And I was going out.
How many masks did you deliver in total? Because you was out every day by yourself. How many masks?
Every day, yeah. I got Nick over 2 million.
Wow.
Over 2 million. Yeah, over 2 million. And we was the first ones. We dropped a plane. We flew a plane in from the Ukraine, Skip, and it had 1.8 million masks on there for the NHS, non-profit. Non-profit. We was the first one to do it, Mask Our Hero. And I was out every day in my little car going to all the frontline workers. And I actually got nicknamed the Robin Hood of PPE because I'd ring companies and a 30p mask, they were trying to charge a £5 or a tenner. So I'd go there and I'd just rob them and just say to them, you're either going to be the hero or the villain. Which one is it? People are fucking dying. Whatever it is, these people need these masks. So I'd take them, and then the press, because you know me, I never do press for charity, and the press called them and they said, you're fast becoming the Robin Hood of PPE. I said, Robin Hood, I said, I don't like that. It means I'm stealing off, and I can't be known to be stealing. So I said, I see myself more as a masketeer. So I quickly became a masketeer. So, but we did that charity, and everything was, and 2020 was testing for everyone. But for me, I was happy for the time off. I was happy for the reset. I didn't see anything negative in that 2020 year. I see it all as a positive. Looking up in the sky and the universe healing, the planet healing, and it doesn't take long for the planet to heal if you leave it alone, because you've taught me these understandings that our body mimics the world, and if we get the flu, what do? We lay down, we have our vitamins, we rest, and then we come back. All we've done is let the planet rest, haven't we? We give the planet 6 months to a year, took the toxins out of it, and it's starting to, I know there's a lot of things going on in the sea with the plastic and stuff, but it is what it is. But I do believe the planet was healing, and I'm starting to sound very mamby-pamby, but it was beautiful to see stars and butterflies. And we haven't seen butterflies since the fucking 80s, have we? Because of the pollution, but butterflies landing on you and things like that. It was a lovely experience for me because I did a lot of good and I reset. Yes, I had murders with my family. Yes, that side of it was really bad. And yes, it was a horrible atmosphere in my home, but that's all gone now. I sit in this big house, I rattle around in this big house on my own. And at the start, it was really tough. But now people go to me, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And it's quite funny. A lot of people thought I was actually going to commit suicide. And just going back to that, and I won't bore you with the details, guys, but the holy men, the shamans, they said, look, we're booked up for 3 months because even when you're helping someone, you still can be booked up. Do you know what I mean? And it's only sort of a couple of people. And they said, we came to you within 3 days. And I said, why? That was very kind of you. There's me thinking that I'm special. They said, we sense in your voice that you was maybe going to do something really bad to yourself. And they told me this after the session. And I said, well, how do you think that? They went, no, not at all. Your thought process on your future and your future helpings and what you're doing, we're so fine. We're happy. We just had to get here because we prioritize things. This wasn't us just coming here to bless your house or see if there's any bad spirit. This was more for you. And it was quite funny. They got these cards out and it's just normal playing cards. It isn't like tarot cards and stuff. And they were just doing it. They were unlocking. They said, we can unlock 4 wishes for you. So I said, okay. And I'm always sort of, I've never had tarot cards read. I'm never that guy, but they had such a great spiritual energy, these monks. And they felt so great when they put their hands on me and they made me drink some stuff. And it was just, I said, go on then. And they said, right. And this is what made me believe it even more, because the weird things you do when you call me and I'll go like, what are you doing? And I start looking around, you got a camera. I'm like, what the fuck? You're weird. I'm like, that freaks me out. But that was at the start, and I kind of get it now. And they said, take this bit of paper, write 4 wishes down. Don't let us see and turn it over. They turned the cards over. They said, listen, you got to redo those wishes. I'm like, what? They said, I told you, these wishes are for you, not for anyone else. And mate, I turned them over and it was like, I want my friends and family to be this. I want my mum to be that. It was for everyone but you. And they just knew that there and then. And they told me what I'd written down. I was like, oh, this is freaky. Like, this is really weird.
This is the same thing, filling up your cup. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
What I want people to understand, that we have so much deep subconscious programming. Like, we're awake now, we're conscious, but not, I think they say, you can be 50,000 times more powerful subconsciously than consciously. Now, how do we get something programmed in our subconscious? We have to work it like the reps. That's the only way. You can't do
Isolate
one
it.
time hit. It's the repetition. It's what we're doing consistently, what we're doing again and again and again. And what I've seen you do it, and it is like this: you go up, but then there's a dip. The dips are
And my
essential.
dips are bad, though. My dips are bad, Skip.
They're getting less and less and less.
They are getting less and less.
But the thing that I really admire within you is you learn and grow. And that's the thing. If we don't learn and grow, you know that that pattern's going to keep repeating, and it's going to keep hitting harder and harder, not because life is trying to beat us up. Life wants to wake us up so that we can step into our power. We can step into our beauty. We can step into this moment and be great within the moment. So I just want to sort of lead this to now, because we're going to have people from all over the world watching this, and they're all going to be at different stages of their lives. But I know everyone's been challenged in the last 12 months. Everyone. It's impossible to live on this planet without either you being challenged direct or someone that you love being challenged in a major direct as well from this whole, COVID chapter that we've gone through. So what words of wisdom would you say to someone who is bouncing back, who's having to rise again, from the flames? Because until we get control of ourselves and our inner world and understand that there only are three ways that we can experience any form of life on this planet, and it's either through the body, through the mind, or through the spirit. And when we start to understand these three elements, like the three different personalities, like the three different kids, but we need to fuel all these three things differently. And then we got to get the engines working well in each one, but then we got to have them come together in harmony to create this inner world, because this is something that you've done well. And every time I tune into you, you come back and you say something that is really big, but every time it's come out, it hasn't been through ego. It's come out of your heart. And when you say, hang on a minute, what I'm doing now, 50 at 50, that might be one cup, but I've got multiple cups that I've got to fill up here, and I've got to get all these cups overspilling, because that's living in abundance. It's manifesting in abundance. So what would you say? Now, I call it living a supercharged life. That's what it's all about. Where you got this freaking supercharged behind your body, behind your mind, behind your spirit, so that whatever you want to go out and create, whatever you want to go out and manifest, life is going to say you can have it, but you got to do the work to be able to get it and sustain it. So what advice would you give to someone to make sure that they're living supercharged?
For me, it's very simple. This is what I've learned, and this is what I've always said, Skip, with you. I was very frustrated at the beginning, wasn't I? I can't do it. I can't do it. You find your own way. Be like water, as you say. Just find your way through what you need to get to your end goal. So I've created those tools. For me, it's don't live in fear. It's so simple for me now. I was living in fear of everything. People look at me, big bad Tamer. Big bad Tamer, boxer, fighter, strong leader. But I was still living in fear. I was living in fear. What did the fear turn into? Hatred. What does the hatred turn into? Envy. What does the envy turn into? Jealousy. Everything reptilian and everything negative lives in fear. Now,
with that, there's two analogies that I love. So fear everything and run, which is the program that gets installed. Or we now use the fear as fuel, and we fear everything and rise up no matter what anyway.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying to you. If you're living in that fear, that low fear of, oh my God, we can't travel. Oh my God, the fear turns into manipulation. Let me tell you something. I put someone on a chair, I pour petrol over them, and I light a match. They do anything I tell them to do because they're living in fear. Mass manipulation, what they're doing, installing fear into the masses so they can manipulate them. That fear is what you shouldn't live in. The fear of not succeeding is a good thing, because that fear turns into a positive where you're going, do you know what? It's not the refuse to lose analogy that I used to have, because it's okay to lose and it's okay to fail, but it's that fear of, I now have an adrenaline fear, where that fear is like when you're jumping out of a plane, you're like, God, I'm terrified. But when you're out there, you're like, fucking yes. That fear is okay for me. But I was living in the hatred fear. And I still have these thoughts every day. Don't get me wrong, because if anyone says they don't, but what I do now, when that hatred, that fucking piece of shit comes in, I go, stop it. Stop it. See you later. And it just goes. And it might come back 10 minutes later. But I don't hang on to it for months and days and hours. It's literally there for seconds. Well, and I learned this other thing. Try praying.
Yeah, let me use this analogy because I want people to get this. You cannot stop the negative thoughts. I haven't.
No, impossible.
But it's like this. It's like the weeds of the garden. If you don't get rid of the weeds, they're going to screw up the garden. So it's de-weeding the mind, because everything in the mind can only arrive in here from this outside world. And all the mind can do is collect data from the past. So the mind is going to try and keep you locked with all this past data. Now, no one would do this. They would never go in the garden, grab those weeds, pull them out, and then hold on to them. You're not going to do that with negative thoughts unless you don't know that you can let go of them. As simple as that. So those negative thoughts, we have to expect them, but be clever and do what you just done. It's like, no.
No, you're not coming to play with it. Listen, sometimes, Skip, you can hear the voices in my head from where you are in another country. But it's okay to talk. It's okay to go, nah, see you later. The weed analogy. I like the weed analogy. I am a weed. The weed is the most strongest thing in the world, mate. A weed grows through fucking rocks and steel, and there's more fucking nutrients and minerals and everything in a weed than there is anything else. So please, I'm a weed. Call me a weed, because it's the strongest plant on the planet. Because you get taught this as a kid. Oh, you're a weed. Why? Because weed is good. They teach you anything that's good, they'll teach you not to like it. Don't get caught up in that. It's very difficult. I know it's easy for you to say, Tamer, you're a movie star. No, mate, I wasn't born a movie star. No, mate, I wasn't born a millionaire. No, mate, I wasn't born all of this. This is what you create yourself. Those thoughts will come in. The fear sets in. And if you don't let them go, the mind will start messing with you. And it will start going to, you're a failure, you're this. And don't listen to other people, because with success comes all of it. Nobody says to the man on the street that's homeless, going like this, you give him £1, you feel like you've done a bit of good, you don't even think about him again, do you? So always remember this. My mum used to say this to me, son, if they're not saying it to your face, they're saying it to your ass. Don't even think about it. They're talking to your ass. You're going to have all of this animosity, this jealousy from your dearest, nearest, and closest. Always remember that. You've got to I'll tell you what I've done. I've created boxes in my head, right? I used to get very upset with people. Why has he said this? You're meant to be my brother. You're meant to be my wife. How can you call me these names? Da-da-da. Categorize people. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. Categorize people. If someone's a compulsive liar, that's their bad. Put them in the liar's box. Because when they lie to you, you don't get upset because okay, all right, I know what he is. If someone's a piece of shit, put him in a piece of shit box. If someone's disloyal to you, or you know that they're not, just create these boxes in your head. The things that upset you more than anything in the world, betrayal, distrust, theft, create those boxes in your head and just see who they are. You ain't going to change them. Nobody can change anybody. Always remember this. No one can change anybody, Skip. Only you can change you, because these emotions are your choices. Yes, you can sit with people like I've sat with you, and you've taught me how to change. You've taught me how my mindset can be different. You didn't make me do that. I did it. So if you're sitting there thinking you're going to change or help people, get it out your head. Be selfish. Get rid of the dead wood, because only you can make you great. Put them in the boxes, leave them there. As long as they're in them boxes, you're fine. Oh, God, he's at it again. Is he telling lies again? So you laugh it off in your head and move on from it. And for me, that's the whole thing. The minute you're out of fear, the minute you're understanding what you're doing, set a goal and go after it. And if you fail, it doesn't matter, because you have these old cliches. Oh, never mind, son, or never mind, my dearest daughter or my friend. When one door closes, another one will open. Will it fuck? I'm sorry for me swearing. Will it hell. You know what? Let me tell you something. I dare you to shut that door in my face. Because if I can't kick it down, I'm going round the back and climbing through the window. Hey, I'm still here.
Right, what Tamer just said there, right? Everyone who's watching this, I'll tell you one of the reasons why I laugh so much.
Sorry for swearing.
This is you, mate, and you just got to be you. This is like I am. You're now showing us who you are. And who you are, this is what everyone needs to understand. Whatever reason why you're on this planet, I asked you this question, I ask everyone this question right at the beginning to see what hymn book people are singing out of. Do we believe that we're spiritual humans who might every now and again get to have a spiritual experience, or do we ultimately believe that we're spiritual beings who are now having a human experience? When we get that we are spiritual beings, when we get that we can have this intelligence of the whole universe, this is what I want people to get. The universe, there are more universes out there than there are grains of sand on this planet. So we are a part of a cosmic force that is way more than any...
A cosmic miracle.
A cosmic miracle.
Miracle.
Now, when we tune into that, we're not going to have a little bit of energy coming out of us. We're not going to have a little wish coming out of us. We're not going to have a little bank account coming out of us. We're going to have this force that it doesn't matter what roadblocks are put in front of us. Bam, we're knocking everyone down to go out there, not to be able to beat people up. Because when you said about, it's all right to lose, here's the thing. I'm just going to explain two energies real quick, because this is the energy that you used to be in, and it was the competitive energy. We get trained. I was in the energy, becoming a champion. I had to win and somebody else had to lose. That with that competitive energy, you cut off the creative energy. When we connect to the creative energy, you can't be stopped. You aren't.
Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it take its course. Trust in the process. And that's the hardest thing to do. Trust in the process, because everybody wants a fast life. Social media wants a fast life. It's all crap. People hiring cars, wearing fake watches. Kids nowadays, the new millennials, want that fast life. Trust in the process, because the process has been there for eternity. Long before we was here, that process was there. People were doing it thousands of years ago. Trust in the process. If it doesn't happen today, it'll happen tomorrow. But let me tell you something. I tell you, you see why I want you to trust in the process and believe in what I'm saying is because people say life's short. Life isn't short. People say, oh, you're blinking, you're dead. No, it isn't. Life is long. Life is amazing. A year, you live to 100. That's 100 years. That's a long time. It's brilliant. You live to 70, 50, whatever it is, it's a long time, right? Now, you just got to trust in that process of when it works. Because what happens is, you hear that saying, and I said it earlier, and I'm glad we got to this, Skip. Yeah. And this is what people should understand. And I'm glad we built up to it, because I said it earlier. I was an overnight success. Was I hell an overnight success? Because I've been manifesting this fame or this fortune from when I was a kid. That's 33 years. People think I woke up and become Musa. I went through 150 castings. I did this. I put the work in. And then all of a sudden, there it is. I've got what I wanted. Yes. Was that an overnight success? No. What did I do? I trusted the process. Mm-hmm. I believed in the process and I let it take its course. And let me tell you another thing. It's okay to sidestep people, It's okay to be horrible to people, It's okay to tell people to fuck off. Get away from me. I don't need your energy around me. You can't help everyone. You can't help everyone.
And it is about now helping ourselves, because what's now happening is, and I say this to people, that there's a wave coming. They think that they've had this wave through Corona. It's being set up for something way bigger. And I use this analogy because I got caught in, when I was living out in Australia, I got caught under a wave and I got caught in a rip. And I'd learned how to do a little bit of surfing, but then I turned around and I saw this wave coming. And I'm not going to lie, I cacked my pants because it was way bigger than, it was the size of a house. And instead of me doing what I was taught to do, which would have been in the body in the moment, would have been fine. I went straight into my head. The fear came in.
Panic.
I operated from fear. I fell straight up the board and caught in the rip. And what the rip is you can't see the rip from above the water. You get swallowed under into the undercurrent. And when I came up for air, I literally got some air, and then I got pulled straight under the water and got swept into this undercurrent, into the rip. And I literally thought I was about to die. And I'm a strong swimmer, and I managed. It took me about 5 minutes just to get out of one of these rips and to go. And these surfers saw what I was doing. And what I didn't learn was that you don't go against the rip, you go with it. And it spits you out at sea, but then you come back in a place where the rip isn't. And I remember I literally, the thoughts in my head was, I'm going to die here right now. And I'm like, how the hell are these thoughts getting there? And the only thing now is to get air, get air, get air. Now, this wave that is now coming into humanity. People are going to experience it either on the board, where now this big wave that's coming in, they can become more conscious, they can wake up to the truth, they can wake up to their full power, they can wake up to their part in this game of life. And I mean, wake up to it. And it's by discovering who you truly are and what your part is in this game of life. Or if you don't wake up and you get to now, if you wake up, you're going to ride that wave and it's going to be the ride of a lifetime. If you don't wake up, you're going to be caught in that rip in life, and it will be following the illusions that you're saying, wearing the fake watches, doing this, doing that. Why are you doing that? Because we feel that we have to prove ourselves to someone. I need something.
That's exactly what it is.
To make me feel good. This is one of the reasons I stopped wearing all the jewelry.
Social stats. Social stats. That's all it is. That's what kids are being taught nowadays. Social stats. You need this, you need that. They don't look at me. I'm in my 50s and I've got these cars. They think, oh, I got off my mum and dad. That's how they do it. Going back to the wave thing, what you said, I had that experience as well. And what happened was I was with a girlfriend. I was very young and I was in Mexico, and I was facing the beach, beautiful white beach. I was facing the beach, and I see the terror on everyone's faces. Just out of the blue, this wave came. Because I didn't know it was coming, what's the matter? What's the matter? And as I've looked around, it was like a block of flats.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I did? I didn't have time to panic. I didn't have time. All I did, it took me, I just curled up in a ball. I curled up in a ball, my friend. I curled up in a ball, and it took me, like you said, you were completely good. It does what it does. I didn't panic. I didn't know what was going on. Curled up and I ended up maybe half a mile down the beach.
Yeah.
They all thought I was dead.
Yeah.
I got out, I walked out, and as hard as it came, it was gone. Calm. I walked out of the beach, I was like, because I didn't know. I was like, oh, fucking hell, that was good. I remember turning, spinning around underwater, and I opened my eyes, I could just see sand and water, and I was just spinning. Weirdly, I must have been 18, I had a good time. I was like, this is fun. But can you imagine if I would have went into the fear? I wouldn't be here now. But I went into this is fun.
Or you'd have a negative, because anytime because you know this from Supercharge Your Life, anytime that we go into a peak state, positive or negative, all of what we experience gets programmed into our nervous system. So what would have happened is you could have had a fear against sea. You could have had a fear against waves. This is what happened with your flight. There was a fear around something that, what are you showing us?
No, I'm not. I'm just putting the battery on.
All right.
I'm just putting the battery on.
Show me. I was like, okay. Okay.
No.
Because what happens is, and this is because we're coming back to the fear, so many people have this unconscious fear come up and they don't even know about it. And it's pushing them away from the very things that they need to be doing, because having the pressure put on us is needed. That's how we build the muscle. That's how a diamond gets formed. And I just want to say that, again, hearing you speak like this, from remembering the first time we ever had a conversation, it's night and day, brother. And I really want to honor you for being you, and for taking the hits and being knocked down and getting up, brushing yourself down, but working the stuff out so that the pattern doesn't keep repeating. so that we do feel like we're giving to make life better. And it does, it has to start with ourselves. We've got to start with ourselves.
Give unconditionally. Give unconditionally.
So
you give to receive, you're always going to get heartbreak.
Knowing that there are people who are challenged where, you know, in a financial way, there are people who are challenged in a health way, there are people challenged in a happiness way, because we're talking about the health, the wealth, and the happiness. What would your advice? Well, I'm going to try and get this interview out this week, but we've got Supercharge Live coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What would your advice be to somebody who might even be just sat on the fence thinking, should I do it? Should I not do it?
I've sat on the fence. I'm going to talk from experience. This isn't something that I'm making up or you know, trying to sell a fucking space, because you don't need a space sold. Evidently, everybody knows you have to invest in yourself. So there's my sales pitch gone. But when I went, I wasn't on the fence. I was at the back of the room, like that.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I was walking into. Didn't know what I was experiencing. Didn't know what I was doing there. I was sat in a room which was like it was like a madhouse, the Big Brother house, a madhouse. It was like, what am I doing with these mad, dysfunctional people? Like, why am I here? The great thing is I didn't have no money to get home, so I had to ride it out. I couldn't go home anyway. But so then what I did, I had 1 day, 2 day. I think you see what was going on. And then I thought, you know what? I'm here. Play full out. Try it. Give it a go. Don't, because if you've got resistance, you ain't going to benefit from it. You ain't going to benefit from it. I mean, I was upset. I did 5 days, 2 days was full of resistance and like, what are these idiots doing? What am I doing here? What, they're giving me juice to drink. I need to eat something. I want a burger. I want this. I want that. It was just stuck in that society where most people are. You just got to play full out. And I'll guarantee you, if you don't get something out of it, I'll give you your money back. I'll give you your money back. I'm telling you, you will get, but this isn't like, I'm going to call Tamer and get my money back. My brother there, Skip, will tell me whether you've played full out or not. And if you play full out and you don't get nothing out of it, I'll give you your money back. It's the most overwhelmingly emotional, loving experience I've ever had. The way you bring people together. I mean, there's people come from all over the world, and on day 3, I'm hugging them and singing John Lennon songs, and they're like, even when you're doing it, you're going, this is so fucking mad. This is so messed up, right? Because of the society that we live in and how we've been brought up and cocooned with our own families and told he's no good, he's mad, he's this, he's that. Because you've got all these thought process going in your head, like, you're from China, like, and you're from Italy. Like, you can't even speak English. Why am I cuddling you? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, you have, that's what it'd be like. You go, hello, mate. Especially us being Brits, we're like the coldest on the planet. I mean, tip up a lip, thank you. Don't touch me. Wear a mask. Do you know what I mean? But you kind of get into this room, and before you know it, mate, you're just singing to each other. You become one. You understand humanity. It's just, listen, you have to go and do it. You have to go. I'm smiling. I mean, my smile is so big I could be chewing my earlobes. It's such an overwhelming, amazing experience, guys, that you have to do it. You have to do it. Yeah, and you will come away from that with so much energy, so much positivity, so much knowledge and wealth. And it's not you go there and you drink juice and you listen to Skip, because Skip probably hates the sound of his own voice after a while, but it's all part of the process. But then the educational side of it, the side where he sits and gives you your downtime, and he has, you know, Epsom salt baths for you and enemas and this and learning how to breathe and all of that stuff's one thing. But then the educational side of it, when, you know, him speaking about it is one thing, but then he gives you the facts. He shows you these great documentaries at night, and you sit there and watch them, and then you think, wow, I didn't know that. And it isn't just about, you know, your health, your wealth, your food, your this, that, now. It's about educating you about the media, about the press, about manipulation, and about life in general. So listen, guys, it's all there. It's all there. And for me personally, it doesn't charge you enough. Seriously. He charges you the price of a freaking holiday. And I know that it's a non-profit organization he's doing, but I keep telling him off. You've got to start making some money soon, son. You're helping millions of people around the world. So, anyway, whatever. We'll go another way with that. But the go, and you will go again. And when you go the second time, and I'll tell you from my experience, the second time you go, you think, oh, I've heard this all before. But it isn't you've heard it all before, because there's new bits in there, and it'll always add new elements to, because Skip's growing as well. You're growing all the time. You bring people into a room and you're understanding what people want. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're teaching yourself as much as you're teaching us.
And the way I describe it is, when we start to understand that everything has a vibrational frequency, when we're in flow, when we're manifesting, we're in a high frequency, when we're stuck and we feel alone and things are heavy and dark, we're in a low frequency. Whatever frequency people come in at, they're guaranteed to leave in a high frequency. Guaranteed.
Correct.
And that's just by playing full out through the processes and the activations that we take people through. So it's...
And I will say some parts of it, you are going to feel really uncomfortable. No, honestly, you are. And I've been 5, 6, 7 times, and there's certain parts of it that really, I'm like, oh God, I have to freaking do this. And my bit's the trance bit. And he knows this. Skip knows the whole trance stuff gets to me, and I feel embarrassed about it, because I am a public figure and I am a man, and there is still a part of me that goes, oh, it's embarrassing. Because I do have that leadership, and I do have that alpha male, and I do have these things in me, and I'm not perfect, and I don't want to sit there jumping around like a lunatic, but I do it. And I get something from it, even if it's laughter at what somebody else is doing. Do you know, I'm not laughing at them like, oh, look at you, you idiot. But some of the stuff that people do and where they go in these trances really amuse me in a fun way, in a loving way, like, wow, look at you. Is that where you're going? Brilliant. And then I look at this one, I look at that one, because I've always got an eye open me. I'm like, shut your eyes. I'm that kid that always have his eyes on, because I can't be told what to do. And I look, and then watching those guys makes me want to feel what they're feeling. So then you get into it. You see, there's a bit of laughter, there's a bit of embarrassment. And then before you know it, you're jumping around like a lunatic. Like, I'll do it for you now. You know what I mean? Like, you just go, and you're just like, and then you're just all over. Look, I've gone again. You see what I'm saying here? But you just got, listen, guys, go, play full out, right? Invest in yourself. What I am living proof of what this man does, because you have no idea what I was, what a tyrant I was, how out of control I was, and how uneducated I was about spirituality and about life in general. And about the world is a big, beautiful place, and there's so much more to it. You know, don't get caught in the rut. Don't sit there. And I still go and visit my friends that are still sitting in the pub, 10 pints a day, big bellies, younger than me, look older than me. I walk in and they call me Peter Pan. I still go back there because that's my heritage, that's my life, and I don't turn my back on that. But I sit there sad sometimes, and I put my arms around them, and I leave them money. And I go back once a month, once a fortnight. I'll pop in as I'm driving. But all right, boys, here he is, the movie star. Look at him. Come over here, mate. We'll have a big hug. They know not what they do, and they're happy in their life to go home, and you know they're smiling, they're happy, and that's okay. Do you understand? That's okay. But for people like me and for you guys that are just on a Zoom with this man, I know you want more. I know you want more, and I know you want to live life to the full, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be listening to me and you wouldn't be listening to him. Just go and play full out, simple. If you don't, I'm going to come and find you. See, I went back to me then again, didn't I?
Brother, you know I could just keep chatting with you forever. I'm actually going to be starting, I've been asked by so many people to actually start a podcast, and the conversation
you need to.
Podcast can last like 90 minutes to 2 hours. So
you need to.
Let's get you on there, brother, because I want to expand on so many areas, but I want to keep I mean, this has gone like double the time that I planned anyway.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's me. Everything you've said, mate, is come from the heart, and it's golden nuggets. You've been dropping gem after gem after gem, and I really appreciate you taking your time, because I know
before you go, you do know I always need a freebie from you, don't you?
Go for it.
Right now, I am that close. And everybody listen to this as well, because this is something for you guys as well, because I'm sure it happens to everyone. I'm that close. And I know that old saying, something bad's always going to happen. You're going to get tested before something good happens. Not interested in that crap. Don't believe in it. What's happening now is I am getting attacked by every sector of my life. Old friends attacking me on text. I'm not reacting. This is the great thing. I'm not reacting. I'm not being the old person I am. Family attacking me. Don't talk to me before all of a sudden they're here. Next week, and I'm going to be calling you next week, I was meant to go on a road trip and I cancelled it because I feel next week is the week. The work's been done. We're going to close these big deals and here comes the help, right? But right now, I am getting attacked from every angle, mate. Verbally, via messages, via people talking about me. It's not bothering me, but can you put some understanding on it for me? Why this is happening?
Yeah. So imagine that I've got an elastic band here. And this elastic band is being stretched and stretched and stretched. Now, what's been happening is, this is actually, if you go back to when we first met, look at the journey. It's gone up, down, up, down, up, down. But every time along the journey, what you're gaining is more awareness of the truth. Because in the moments when there was a dip, it would always be getting to you still. You deal with it and you come out, but there was still a bit of a rocky journey. Now, for you to be able to win, where you win, but nobody else has to lose, we've got to go out of that frequency into another one. This is going from the competitive frequency, the competitive energy, into the creative energy, where now, as you're transitioning through this, it's like, imagine that I've got this elastic band between my fingers and I'm pulling it. What a lot of people do is right at the edge, before they're feeling so much pressure, and instead of trusting their spirit, which will always take them out their comfort zone so that they can discover more of themselves, instead of trusting the spirit and trusting, they go back to some type of fear in the mind, and bam, they recoil. And it's in that, when they recoil, they go back to the lower frequency because it's safe. Now, you spoke about this where you said that there was a almost like a guilt of having that much wealth and attracting that much abundance. Now, it works like this. Imagine that you've got say you've got a central, are you still there, mate? I think we've lost you. No, I'm just about to explain this to you. Are you there, brother? I think we've lost him. I want to get him back. He's back, baby.
We are back, darling. I have to download it onto this phone. We're back. Where was we?
Right. So we're talking about you wanted some help. Oh, yeah. So
yeah, just people coming in at me, Skip, coming in on me all the time. Like, and I sense that they're no good in my life anyway. So what I'm doing, go on.
This is what I want to do to share with you, because remember this, and this is, again, I'm sharing this with Tamer now, but this is to help anybody who is feeling the pressure of the stuff that's coming in. And we need to know this. You know what I say, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the blessing. The more the pressure, the more you can evolve when we get the truth. Now, this is what I want people to understand. So let's say that you've got an air conditioning unit in the room, and the room goes down. Now, you want it set between, you want it at a certain temperature. Now, if it goes, let's say that you've got the same air conditioning unit, but now all of a sudden it's summer. So what happens is more heat's coming in the room. There's more heat. What does the air conditioning unit do? It kicks in, so it takes the heat back down to keep it at a certain temperature. But now let's say that the season outside has changed. Now it's winter. Same unit. What does it do? Now it's colder outside. It brings some heat in to keep the temperature the same. Here, the reason I'm saying that is this is how people's subconscious stuff is screwing them up. Because what happens is, let's say that we start to become successful. Let's say that we start to get more opportunities. Let's say that we start to see a clear road ahead. If there is a little drop of guilt in there, a little drop of, do I really deserve this? Do I, look at everybody else around me? And we start to lower that frequency of abundance that's now ready to breathe through us. Life is going to test you in ways that you can never figure out with your own mind. It could be with your own family. It could be to do with your environment, your opportunities. It doesn't matter where it comes in. What we've got to be able to do is now observe, right, all this pressure that's coming in. Do I want to now subconsciously play this like an air conditioning unit where if it goes outside of that comfort zone, something's going to kick in and bring us back in the comfort zone? That's the elastic band going out and bam, recoiling. This is what most people do. They get a taste of what they truly want, but then because of the subconscious programming, they go back to someone, to some pattern, to some habit that just doesn't serve them in moving on. Because what got you to here isn't going to get you to the next phase. Like, I say to people, like, this is how come now, literally the biggest events company on the planet have said, Skip, how are you getting people to get these financial rewards where you're not teaching them a single financial strategy? I said, I'm teaching them a strategy to be able to function better themselves. People can figure the stuff out when they are connected to the truth. Because if they don't learn how to figure out...
You're not going to educate them about their business. You're going to educate them how to be successful within their business.
100%. But because by becoming successful within themselves. And like one guy I use as an example, he's involved with a $66 million deal. And this guy was questioning whether he could spend $2,000 to come to one of my events. And the day after the event, he manifested 320,000. Then we did 400,000. Then he did $1 million, taking it all up to 4 million, involved with a $66 million deal. It's just baby steps going in the same direction.
You know what I said to you about 50 at 50? This deal that we're closing is $500 million.
Of course, it has to be.
I'll put another. God knows how many zeros at the end of it.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. This isn't coming from a mind that wants to manipulate. It's coming from a place of abundance where you want to give back so much, but now all of this thing is now you giving to you. It's about you saying, right, what have I got to give to myself now? Okay, I've got to give myself good energy. I've got to give myself some good thoughts. I've got to give myself some good immunity. I've got to give myself some power, but I've also got to give myself some love. Because if I'm not giving myself love, then we run through the game of life in the head. And I say this to people now, if you're in your head, you're dead. It's that simple. If you're in your head, you're dead. Whereas if you're in your heart, you're alive. And what we want to be able to do is be in our hearts, but to now focus the head, focus the brain in where we want to focus it. Because if we don't choose where to focus it, those weeds are going to keep coming up again and again. And they will be the weeds of doubt. They'll be the weeds of fear. They'll be the weeds of regret, loss. All of this stuff, they're going to naturally come up. They come up in everyone's gardens. But you know who wins? The ones who go and take the weeds out and go, love you, weed, but not in my garden. And it's that simple. I know it sounds so simple to say it, but I know that you've built some muscles already. So what is important for you now is to honor all of this stuff that's coming at you. Because here's what we do. And I I talk about pitch and catch. Pitch something to me and I'll throw it back to you. Throw it back to me. Now we've got a relationship. What we need to understand is what's our relationship with life? How's life throwing something at us and how are we throwing it back to life? Are we throwing it back to life better because now we put our stamp on it? Or is it going back to life worse? And I'll boil it down to these two things because you're an actor. And what I say to people is, in your life, you're the writer. In your life, you're the director. In your life, you're the star of your own life. But most people are writing a tragedy without even knowing it. And what we want to be writing is box office smash hit again and again and again, because now we crack the formula. Now we crack the code.
People edit movies in their head that isn't there.
I know. Yeah.
That's what people are doing. They edit. You get given, somebody plants a seed in your head, and trust me, I'm going through it with my family.
Yeah.
They're editing something in their head that isn't there.
Yeah.
And what's happening now, Skip, is that I'm getting attacked on the phone. I mean, I don't hear from no one for a month. All of a sudden, the minute I say, Next week is the week. Boom, I've got it. This is the week. This is crunch time. We're going to close this next week. We put the work in. We've sacrificed. We've spent money. We're doing it. Done. It's been a long journey. It hasn't been easy. Because if making money, making millions and billions was easy, we'd all be billionaires. I get that whole thing. Let's get it. The minute that happens, negativity. This person I used to work with, that person I used to work with, this one, that one. And do you know what I'll do before Skip? I'll reply back. Come and meet me. Do you know what I'm doing now? I gave one explanation and then it keeps flooding, non-responding to the point where now you're blocked. Go and cry to whoever you want in the world. Don't cry to me, mate. I'm not interested. I'm busy. Is that the way to do it? Just block it out.
100%, mate. I'm so happy to hear you do this because there are going to be, there's two types of people on the planet. People who take and people who produce. If you're a taker, and this is like little rich kids, take from parents, take, because that's what they've been programmed to do. Whereas if you go and teach your kid to produce, you go and teach a loved one to produce, you go and teach a business partner to produce, all of a sudden now you're surrounded with leaders. And that's been the key thing around you. And remember, I said this from day one. I'm not going to say it again. We got to get the right people around you, the people that are your team, your tribe, because without that, you can't do this now as a one-man band. This is why I have my organization.
The team I'm sitting with now have zero to do with the movie industry. Amazing, honest, creative entrepreneurs that are sitting at the table and not one of them is taken more than the other. Yeah. There's 8 of us sitting in that room and we all have our job.
Awesome.
One of them is a finance. There's nothing he doesn't know about banking. He deals with that. There's another one. He deals with structure. There's another one. He deals with this. You know what my job is? To bring them in. Who do we need? Go get them. Tamer, people love you. Go get me this person. Go get me that person. Go introduce me to that. So I'm sitting in a room now where...
You're a star profile, mate. This is what all you need to honor is your star profile. You're a star profile with that creative energy. You just master that, mate. Everything else will trickle into place.
And the whole thing is with this, what's going on? Be in control of your own destiny, mate. Be in control of your own life. Now for me is, I'm not governed by casting directors. After this deal, I won't be governed by casting directors and studios and people telling me whether I can or can't be in this movie. Do you know why? Because financially, I'll make my own movies. I'm in control of my own destiny because I know I'm good enough. And now, all before I was sitting there thinking, I need a new manager. I need this, I need that. No, it isn't always about being with people in your industry. Sometimes you have to move something around the chessboard to get you to the checkmate. And that's all I've done here. I've gone, you know what? And it's all happened so beautifully. It was unforced. We was all together as a charity. We all come together as a charity to do good for a great man who passed. And from that charity and that giving, we've all just gone like this. And it's in such harmony. But the people that were around it before are now, we haven't even made a penny. We've given money out of our own pocket for 18 months. We haven't made a penny. We've given it for free to everyone. Buying this, doing that, getting out in the car, giving things away. But now all of a sudden, this has come together. And people, the cockroaches and the leeches can sense something's happening, all coming out of the woodwork. You need to tell me this. You done this, you done that. Name calling, this, that. You can't do, I gave you this, I gave you this. One explanation, and all I'm doing now, block. Is that the right thing to do? Let it go.
Because think about everything as a frequency. And if say that you're in this frequency up here, if you lower your frequency, now what lowers the frequency? Fear, putting dead stuff in the body, having dead thoughts, being just stuck up in the head, all of that stuff brings the frequency down. Now, when we get attacked, which we're always going to have people coming at us, always, always, always. Now, if you are in that frequency, bam, they've got you. Whereas if you stay up here, what happens is it's like they're jumping up, they're trying to get you, they're jumping up. Every now and again, they might get one thing in and they're going to try and, it's literally like, you know, when you're throwing up a rope on a building and you start climbing up the building, they're going to try everything to get you. Why? Because as soon as you start to become the light, as soon as you become the real leader, people want that, or they want to try and tear it down. Either way, they want to try and stay connected to it. Your job is to stay connected to the high frequencies, because there may be some of those people around you that are on their journey. And what we learn about people is that people perform differently depending on what season they're in. And it's so important for us to be able to be focused on the road ahead, so that you know, right, this is my road ahead. Because one of those people might end up being someone later down the line. They might have done their work and now they've evolved and they can be a part of the team. They can be a part of the tribe, but it won't be through a thought process. It won't be through manipulation or prodding you. It will be because they can genuinely add value into something at that particular moment when it's needed. And if not,
these people that are on me, they had no value to the point where they could even scud the deal. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So all of that from before, what we spoke about, I don't drop names in or anything, all gone.
Yeah.
All gone.
So you remember this, remember when you first came to Spain and I said, right, you know, we're going to be detoxing you for a lot of stuff, not just the physical stuff. There's a lot of mental stuff that we've got to detox you from. There's a lot of emotional stuff we've got to detox you from. There's a lot of hardwired in programs and stuff playing out at the subconscious level. We got to get this out of your system. Look how far you've come, because now it's playing out in your career, where now you've woken up and you've realized that I want to be doing this with people I love. I want to be doing this with people that I care about. I want to be doing this with people who genuinely love me, who genuinely care about me, where we all rise together and we all start to celebrate everyone's success. But now everyone's in their zone of genius and no one has to step on anybody else's toes.
No, we all have a job to do.
Yeah, exactly. We've all, and then what's that job? Serving life at a high level so that everybody can progress. Because the old ways of lying, cheating, putting people down, manipulating, that was Harvey Weinstein. That was normal in your industry. It was normal. Jimmy Savile, it was normal. And it was happening and no one spoke about it. That cannot live anymore. Why? Because for those people to win, someone had to lose. That's the competitive energy. It doesn't work. Now, imagine you winning, but everyone around you winning as well. It just keeps growing and growing.
When I was a kid, even from a young age, you know, like I sat down and I got told by an uncle of mine, you know, the best thing about having a house, that's £1 million. And I went, go on. He went, if your best mate's got one as well.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And that was from when I was a kid, and I didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
And then a few years later on, he explained it to me. He said, if you're working and your kids, your best friend's got living in a council flat, are you all right to walk in his house and open the fridge? I go, yeah. Why? Because you've got mine. Will he come in your house? How does he when he comes in your house? He sits there quiet, doesn't he? But if you both got it together and you're both on the same journey with the same laughter and the same happiness, how much nicer is it when you go into his house as £1 million and he comes to your house as £1 million? And it's right. And I had that from a kid. I had that 30, 45 years ago. You know, 40 years ago. When I was a kid growing up, I knew that. And that's the right way to be.
Yeah.
Bring everyone with you, mate, but the right people that bring you, add value. Listen, it's not even about adding value. People do their thing, but it's like, for me, it's always about helping. I like, right, listen, we got this. We got some stake money. Let's all go to work. I'm that man. I've got two very close friends to me, Dean and Alex, that have come into my life. One's a relation and the other one's a friend that literally pulled me out the rut. I mean, I got left just before Christmas, as you know, and I was on that sofa 3 weeks lying to people. They just came out. First thing they know, they said to me to do, clean the freaking house up. Go in every room. You couldn't see the carpet, full of everything that was in there. Get in there, you went. No heating on. Right, we're gonna get you a plumber. Heating done. Now, first thing I do when I wake up, I make my bed. I walk downstairs. I have a routine. And that routine has completely changed my whole mindset. Yes, of course, I go back to missing my family. Yes, of course, I go back to missing friends. Yes, of course, I go back to things that I had before, but they're there for that long. Mm. And trust me, if they don't contact me with their anger and their fucking shit, I don't think about it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying here? Because I have a structure.
Yeah, and that's what I want people to understand is like wherever you're at, no matter how much you're being challenged right now, those simple little things, like you said about making the bed, if you get up, it's easy to get out of bed and not make it. Any idiot can do that. But if you take pride in wanting things to be organized, you cannot have an organized mind unless you live in an organized environment. The two are connected. And to be able to do the simple things like making the bed, just a simple little thing like making the bed, presenting yourself in a beautiful way, making sure that the rooms that you live in are tidy and things are put in the right compartments. Because if not, you can guarantee you'll go into overwhelming. Guaranteed. So
Skip, you've been here God knows how many times. When you come here, when you're back, you see. I mean, my friends coming here, the rules. You have a cup of tea, you wash up. I cook, you clean. And it's not OCD. It's just how I need it to be.
Yeah.
Just how I need it to be. This is my space. And this is how I need it to be. Because when I come down and say, listen, I'll go to bed. The pillows everything's all over the place. I go upstairs, I go to bed. I come down, first thing I do, clean everything. Yeah, I know it sounds really trivial and small, but when you're on your own and you have to get your mindset, and that, something as simple as that has changed my whole mindset and my life, mate. As simple as that. Keeping your home in order and having a structure. I used to think structure was getting up, going to work, coming home, dinner, having a routine. It isn't. You can create your own routine. If you wake up in the morning and do you know what? I'm going to take 6 of those toothpicks and arrange them a certain way, and I'm going to do that every day, and that's my priority. That's what serves you. That's what serves you. Then do it. Mine is, I'm house proud. My home is my palace. I rush home now, Skip. I don't come out of here because I have peace and I have serenity and I have calm and I'm in control of what's going on. There are no names being called. There isn't, and I'm not blaming my family because you get to, and sometimes people get to a state where you start blaming yourself. It must be me. Even the other day, I was thinking, fucking hell, I'm getting attacked from all over the place. It must be me because a pattern's forming. Am I doing something wrong? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? And then you get thrown back into that negative state of, I am this and I am that. Oh my God, it must be me. Pull yourself out of it, mate. And that's what I do. I pull myself out of it. Even if it means talking to you for 10 minutes, just to get some kind of clarity. Because it always takes, and sometimes you sit in rooms with AA and NA in these places. The great thing about those rooms, people go in those rooms that ain't even an alcoholic, that ain't even a drug addict. They go in there to listen to people share. When people share it, like when we share at your retreat, it's great because you quickly realize that you're not alone. And the human mind and the thought process is the same for everyone. It's the same for everyone. Because whatever's going on in there is going on there for everyone. And it's down to you to control it. Get it in, get it out.
I'm trying to wrap this conversation up, but you keep bringing up like beautiful subjects, mate. So I'm just going to roll with it because it's obviously meant to happen now. There are two main primary questions that people have running at a subconscious level that they're not even aware of. The first one is, I'm not good enough. And the second one is, I'm not loved. If those two questions start playing out at a subconscious level, that aloneness that we can feel grips us more than anyone, even if they got their hands around our throat strangling, because now we're strangling ourselves in our inner world. And this is why, when we are children have big dreams. And as we get older and older and older, for some reason, those dreams...
It's that manifesting. They're manifesting from a child.
Yeah.
And if you keep dreaming, you get it.
Yeah, 100%.
When you grow older, you get taught not to dream, go to work. Go to work.
Yeah.
What do you mean you want to be an actor? Go be a plumber. Shut the fuck up. Get to it. I want to be an athlete. Shut up. You're never going to be an athlete.
And that's what people have.
You're suppressed from a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get up. You're born. Nursery. School. Senior school. College. Come out of college. Can't even get a job.
And that's our world. And that's what people are doing. And not only that, now they can't go and get a job. Now they've got a massive debt over the head. Because you come out after getting a degree, you got a hardcore debt. So you're taught to be an employee at school. You're taught to live with debt. And if that programming, if you allow it to continue, you're never going to create your own world. You're now creating your own world where what you're going to do, and this has been bubbling up. I told you the first time I saw this has been bubbling up for years and years and years, but it's like this. This is how I want everyone to see this now, where I'll use an avalanche as the metaphor, where how does an avalanche start? One single snowflake, and then another, and then another, and then another. And then all of a sudden, it just takes one tiny little snowflake to come down, land on, boom. The whole thing gets tripped off from one single snowflake. And this, if we don't look for the subtleties in life, if we're only going for the bigger thing, the bigger thing, and the bigger thing, and we miss the present, we miss what life has given us. And this is what I've seen with you. Even when I remember when we was at the and you got presented that award at the British Independent Film Festival for like legend in cinema. It was like, here I saw you up there and you was talking, and I was sitting there and I was like, I really hope he has a clue for what's coming up, because this is just like those snowflakes. But it can only work when you work.
Correct.
And it's the same for everyone who's watching this now. If you want your life to work, forget all this stuff out here. Get this working well. You get this working well, and you'll be able to take the invisible and make it visible at the snap of the fingers. You'll be able to take the impossible and make it possible. Be able to take your mess and have it go into become your message. It's all a stepping stone, but without the presence, without the consciousness, without us knowing that I'm taking this step for a certain reason, we carry on chasing these illusions and living in fear and falling in the trap. So, brother, what you've said is epic, brother. I freaking, I've loved you from the day I freaking saw you in person, not the person I saw on the screen, because that is an actor. When I met you, I fell in love with you as kindred spirits. And everybody, all I want to say now is watch this space with seriously.
Thank you, my brother. Listen, the journey has only just begun. We're only halfway. Mate, I told you, people go, how long you live? At least 150, easy. At least 150. I like the number 50, so I'll triple it. 150. We're just going to keep going, man. And we haven't even started yet. The journey is now beginning. Guys, thank you for listening. Skip, thank you for being you. I love you dearly. And I'll see you soon. When are you coming over? We need an ease up.
Right, I'm now going to pause this and we'll get it right.
See? 80-20, live the 80-20 rule. What we do in our 20% has got nothing to do with anyone. Take care. I love you, baby. Listen, thank you, as always.
Take care, everybody. Lots of love.